because of the passion for our team.
That's right.
And it is a wonderful lesson for us to see that there are always things that connect us and always things that bind us together. And the Phanatic is a unifier. And that's the thing that I think is so powerful. You see silly, wacky, furry. You see the Tommy Lasorda video. You go, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened. You see the Phanatic dancing with the umpires or doing whatever hijinks he's doing, and you laugh and you giggle. But right underneath the surface is a vitally important lesson that we are more in common than we're not. When we surround ourselves with the things that we love and we share them, you are going to learn about people that you don't know about if they want to share with you as well. And that's honestly a solution, Francesca. Simple solutions to very complex problems is part of my message. And this is really, really important to remember when you're giggling at the silly green wacky furriness. Also see what's happening right under your nose and pay attention to it, because it's a lesson for us.
What an incredible lesson. I love what you said. We are more connected than we believe. We are all one. And it's just understanding that, and just the fun and the smiling and the laughter pulls it all together. So this incredible work, you now, like I said, mentioned in the very beginning, you're a speaker and you share these lessons that you've learned throughout this career path. What are some things that we can share with the audience then to engage our happiness quotient here, David, because these are tough times. They're unfamiliar times. It's always been, our future has always been unfamiliar, right? But we've been through a lot in the past few years. How can we engage this, David, and hold on to it and keep it true?
Yes, it is so very simple in terms of the foundational lessons of my message, but it's very difficult because it all comes down to changing habit loops, and habit loops that have been wired into our brain for 30 million years. And so the simplest start is to do two things. Recognize that you truly are in charge of your own happiness. It is up to you to develop daily intentional activities that will support and boost your mood. That's the simplest. And the second is, in terms of a tool, recognize that fun isn't something that you do for off time, break times, or vacation. I always ask people to first, right now, as you're listening to this, I want you to think or write down what's your go-to for fun. And so, Francesca, I'll ask you, what's your go-to for fun?
Oh, I love being outside and just taking a walk, taking the dog out with me, talking with people. I enjoy that. Just
Okay, so
getting some fresh air.
So if we had a bunch of people in the room, people would be firing. I like to go for a walk. I like to read. I meditate. I exercise. I play tennis over and over again. I go to the shore because in Jersey, you go to the shore. In Delaware,
in New
you go to
Jersey,
the beach.
they go to the shore.
Yeah, they go to the shore and then they put their business aside to go to the beach. So then the next question I ask is, how can fun save your life? And there's a lot of silence, and someone might say, and let me just take what you'd say. You'd say, well, I'm going to go out for a walk. I'm going to talk to people. I'm going to connect because I love doing that. And when I'm feeling really bad, I go do that. I'm going to feel better. Bingo. That's how simple this is I try to start there. And I want people not to misunderstand fun. Right. Because when they hire me to speak, oh, Dave's the fun guy. He's going to come in. He's going to be fun, and I remind everybody, it isn't hand buzzers and whoopee cushions. Although, if you design fun to surprise and delight and have a great party, you might include hand buzzers and whoopee cushions. That can be powerful fun. But it starts with the fun that you know is not necessarily powerful fun. Powerful fun is where you use fun to help you survive and thrive in life. So it's not a single source solution. So let's say that you're fighting an illness that could take your life. Let's go to the worst scenario that people could, either their loved ones or them are struggling. You got to go to the doctor. You got to do your scans. You have to follow the treatment. You got to go get your second opinions. You got to make sure you're consulting all the people that you love to help you overcome this. But at the same time, you can't leave fun behind, because it is a really important tool for you to overcome. So you're going to continue to do the things that you know are fun for you, regardless of how bad you feel, because it's a little lever to try to boost your mood. And when you boost your mood when you're sick, you're actually not helping yourself just mentally. The science of positive psychology has proven that it will increase your physical wellness at the same time. Lower blood pressure, lower your heart rate, deliver happiness hormones. When you just smile, whether you fake it or not, you're getting delivered serotonin and a series of these hormones through your brain chemistry that physically are good for you. So all I'm trying to do is say, remember, you're in charge of your own happiness, value fun in your life, and make sure you're deciding, how am I going to work at being happier? So expressing gratitude, being kind, removing focus on yourself and focus on others. Those things are really, really superpower to boost your mood. And if you practice and you work very hard at it, you're going to see that no matter how difficult life can be, this can help you get over it. And then what's really cool about this process is when life decides to give you the good stuff, it's amazing what this will do during your good times to continue to do these same things. So, I have a morning routine. I've got all the things I do daily, and still at the end of some weeks, I feel like I just want to bury my head in a pillow. That's the way life is. But you just got to keep doing this over and over again. And during the worst times when you do it, you're thinking, why am I doing this? But then you look back after you've overcome and you go, wow, now I know how to do it. I've got resilience now. I'm not frightened for the tough times that life can give me, because I have a process and I'm just going to keep doing that. So I appreciate the opportunity I didn't mean to ramble on, but it's truthful. It starts with, you got to know you're in charge of your own happiness, and then you have to know that you got to work at it daily for it to really, have a positive effect.
Yes. Thank you so much, because what we're saying here, we're creating a long-term solution. It may seem short-term, like you said, when you go out and you do your presentations and you share certain information. What you're proposing is, we're going to take it outside of this room so you can carry it with you for the rest of your life, regardless of what obstacles you might bump into, right? So it's building this resilience that you're offering here, Dave, that we can all use, and it's perfection. But yes, it does take persistence and consistency, but that's the fun part. Right?
Yeah,
You can consistently have fun. That's the fun part.
You can. And it doesn't matter where you're sitting. You can engage. Once you learn how to do this yourself, you can go in and inspire people at the workplace to do the same. And if you're a leader, you can make sure your employees or the people that you're leading know that you care about them first. So you get to know your people. You see, like, I know Francesca's having a tough week because I know her daughter didn't get accepted to the school she wanted to get to, or I know her daughter is struggling emotionally, and they know things about you, and they demonstrate their care. And then they go, look, I want to try to make it better at work. How can we make it better for you at work here? Then they listen and they engage in those things. If you're an employee, you do it with your own group, and people are going to go, hey, I want to have what they're having over there. What are they doing? And that will eventually level up to leadership. And as long as you're in the place where leadership cares, they'll pick up on that. And the beauty of this is, if you start seeing your leadership doesn't care about this or doesn't care about you, hey, it might be a suggestion that you're not a right fit at this company. And that's when, the great resignation, when we got hit with the pandemic, a lot of people started to go, wait, I'm paying attention because I'm not wasting any more of my time. And then they've either left and come back with a different attitude, or they've left and they found something better. So I think that this process is when you start really paying attention, who's doing this in my world and who isn't, who believes in this and who doesn't. And it gets you connected to the people you should be connected to. And it eliminates some people that maybe you're spending time with that are just not good for you or them. That's what I love about this, is you start, see the advocacy and the sharing of the same principle, whether people know it. I've termed it powerful fun, and I have a 4 foundational lessons and all those things, but people come to me after I speak and go, wait, this makes sense to me. I've been doing this. I just didn't know I was doing it. Or they say, I can't wait to try this because I wish I had it when. FBI agents that I spoke to came up to me, and it was really difficult to maintain my composure when they said, I was a first responder at 9/11. I wish I heard your message the day after 9/11, because it would have made a lot of sense to me, and it would have helped me get through this. So that's when I know this message is important, because I have the audience members coming and telling me they're not. I had a young girl come to me, and 17-year-old girl from Florida said, I've been thinking about suicide, but after hearing you talk, I'm not going to think about it. And then I had to hold back I'm looking
Wow.
shocked. And I just said, hey, do me a favor, go tell that to somebody in your circle that you trust when you get home. She goes, okay. She goes, okay. And walked away from me. And
Wow.
I remember seeing her pigtail swish back and forth thinking, oh my gosh, this is the problem with young people who struggle, don't show it, don't ask for help, and
Right.
And are looking for something. And if they don't find it, and that's when, we get shocked that suicide becomes a solution for people who are really struggling, that you would never know they're struggling.
That you would never know. This is so powerful. And it's a universal language that you're expressing here, David. It's universal for everybody. And that happiness is available. And you've offered so many great stories. And I'm so grateful because there's going to be plenty of takeaways for those of you who are regular listeners. I always summarize the show with a few takeaways. We're going to have a long list because so many incredible things that you've shared. But I do have one final question about the costume. What do you do when it's really hot, right? In July? I've often thought about that as we're sitting there and I'm wearing a t-shirt, much like I am today. And I'm like, there's the Phanatic, that costume. I don't think it's air conditioned. Like,
No.
how did you manage that?
Well, as I look back, it turns out to be the elixir for a more healthy life, because like an athlete, I figured, oh, this will be no big deal. I've worked hard. I know what it's like to work physically, until I put that costume on the first time. And 15 minutes in, I was stuck because I'd worked my way all the way down to the field level, and I needed a break. And that's why I just jumped over the railing to get to my break area quicker. And that's when people went, oh my gosh, he's on the field. So out of necessity of taking a break, I found out that jumping over the railing, getting on the field was something the fans really, were excited about. So physically, it was a great solution for fitness.
Yeah.
But it was something that was so hard. I had to figure out, where I would go to take a break, be close to the areas where I needed a break, know how to get to safety and be safe around people.
Right.
But truly, I could have made $1 billion, Francesca, in the health industry by making people pay up front, tell them that I'm going to extend their life by 10 years, as long as you don't get hit by a bus.
Right.
But you have to come into my studio first. So they come to my studio. I said, here, put this winter coat on, put a bag over your head, and go run outside for an hour and a half in the 90-degree heat, and do that for 16 years, and you'll be good. Now, knowing that they had to pay up front, no refunds, but I would make them healthy. So
sure.
For me, it was always a reminder that this is great fitness for me. So as I was and then I got used to it. I got physically prepared to do it, and it was always hot. I always needed to take a break, but I was drinking tons of water. I was doing all the things that you hear now for life extension purposes. You have to keep moving. You have to drink tons of fluids. And the only thing I didn't really have to do at that age was to eat healthy, because as soon as it went in my system, man, I burned it right off.
You burned it. Right.
So the only thing I've done at my age now is learn how to eat a little bit better and eat less. But I just keep moving. I get up no matter what's happening. I constantly am moving and engaging physically. And, if you want to live till 100, that's great. But if you want to live till you're 100 and still be able to pick up your great grandkids and play with them, you got to learn to go down on the floor and get up.
That's right.
As a 100-year-old, that's not an easy thing to do unless you've been practicing your whole life for that moment. So I'm just thinking, hey, the Phanatic gave me some, I feel a little bit of like Tom Hanks in The Green Mile, where I got infused with this superpower, and I hopefully will live a long life. But if I do get the opportunity to live a long life, I know two things. I'm going to be happy, and I'm going to be physically able to attack life that for my age and represent that you can be mentally and physically healthy if you work at it.
Wow. So phenomenal. Thank you so much for sharing that. And because I was always curious, and you're right, it is about fitness and taking care of ourselves to extend our lives. But in all of these great things, I can take a guess as to what your favorite piece of clothing or accessory is. But why don't you share with us what that might be for you?
Well, I'll put it into a category, because first of all, love this question. This should be a question, like we say, tell me something good when we meet
Right.
somebody. This is the great follow-up question. What's the thing that really makes you, what's your superpower when you put it on, you feel like it's a super suit?
Yes.
I'll use, so this shirt I have is one of those, it's called 7 Diamonds is the brand, but it's stretch. It stretches everywhere. I love any type of clothing that has a little spandex in it, because as you get older, it's nice to have a little spandex to hold things in place a little bit better. But it's usually a shirt or a pair of pants that just makes me feel comfortable. And that level, that feeling of comfort extends beyond you, and you shows some confidence in how you feel. So I think putting on clothes every morning, you have to think of, I'm putting on my super suit. So for me, it's clothing that I like, that fits me well, has a little bit of stretch, so I can move. And it is really fun to put on some new clothes that makes you feel good, because you see that it really does have an effect on your mood. So I love that question, and I love to hear what other people have. I don't want to bore your audience if you've said it before, but what is it that makes you, what do you like to wear?
I am so with you on comfortable clothing with stretch. It's always baffled my mind that stretch hasn't entered the men's clothing market up until recently, like fairly recently, because of the athleisure, right, that came about, and wearing like workout clothes as everyday clothes. But I am with you on comfort. You pretty much, it's as if we talked about this before you answered your answer to that question. I feel the same way when I'm putting something on new and I pop the tag and I put it on, and I'm doing this gesture because I love wearing blazers, like going out to meetings and presentations, because there is something that I'm putting on, that confidence, right? It comes from within, but also through the clothes that I wear, that yes, I'm feeling good about myself. I purchased this, and then I feeling good, and then I can treat others better, right? So it's just this universal circle of happiness, much the same comfort. I don't wear tacky high heels. They hurt your feet. I bless those women who can keep them on, but I'm into the the nice looking comfort shoe. They're out there. We just have to search for them.
Popping tags, as the song says. That's I'm going to use that as my, as my slogan for how I feel when I put the super suit on. You pop the tag when it's new, it feels great, fits you, helps your day.
That's right. You're the first person who's ever asked me that question. So what an incredible bonus, right? For the audience, I've never been able to share. Because some people have shared accessories, Dave, like heirloom pieces that perhaps, their grandmother, that they wear, that they think of them when they wear a pin or a ring, or one answer was a bathing suit. You should know that was a male and not a female, but he's a swimmer. So that was his answer. I feel confident when I'm swimming. So I'm like, okay, that's your thing. So it's run the gamut from jewelry to necklaces and bathing suits. That's been the commentary.
Or flip-flops.
Or flip-flops. That's right.
The antithesis of those 6-inch heels, which defies gravity. And I mean, there's great skill. There's great skill in the people who can rock it, but
Right. And it hurts your back, your feet, and your knees. Like, no, we're not into putting on pain when we put on our clothes. But yeah, that's not fun. So we're going to follow your theme today and for the rest of our lives. As I see this, I hope everyone gets to hear this and engages with you from here on out. But if someone wanted to contact you or follow you, Dave, where's the best place for them to find you?
DaveRaymondSpeaks.com and Instagram at Dave Raymond Speaks. And I would love people, like, oh my gosh, everybody's got a newsletter, please. But I would love if the call to action is go to DaveRaymondSpeaks.com and sign up for the newsletter. And here are the promises. You get one a month. And when it comes, it's the perfect time. It's 5:30 on the last Friday of the month. So we just published one this past week. And it's set up for you to help your weekend, because it's always these tricks and hacks about what can you do to make yourself feel better and to make people around you feel better. So, and we're growing. We got about 3,500 people on that list now, and I only send it to the people who sign up for it, who know it's coming. So I'd love you to join that community. So DaveRaymondSpeaks.com, click on the newsletter. All I have to do is put your email address. You automatically get a free chapter of my book, The Power of Fun. and a nice welcome from us. And then, every newsletter, I'm asking people to give me feedback. Tell me what you think. Share a moment of joy with me. And the feedback's amazing. So I like that the most.
Yes, and I can attest, it is a great newsletter. I signed up, and you're right, it is exactly at the right time on a Friday morning. So I received the last one, and I'm so grateful and can't wait for the next one. So I'll put all of those links, David, for ease of our listeners today. And going forward, I'll put those links in the show notes and encourage everybody to sign up for your newsletter so they can continue having fun, just in case they forget. They know who to tap into.
Thank you.
Right.
This has been great. I really appreciate it, Francesca. Awesome. And we're going to have to do it again.
I agree. We're definitely going to have to do it again. But for now, thank you so much for your generosity of spirit and soul today, Dave. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And right back at you.
Thanks.